we talk about art, that can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. I mean, some people think painting and pictures, other people think dancing, some people think movies. Like me, I think nature and books. But for the Jews, it was language. It was their songs, it was their poetry, it was their expression of the emotions inside their world. That was art to them. However that happened, that was art. And in the Bible, we actually have a collection of their artistic experiences throughout their written history. Throughout the whole Old Testament, the narratives that we see, we experience the ups and downs of Jewish life. We experience the grief and the joy. We experience all gamut of life. And then we have it collected and even congealed into one book, the book of Psalms. Now we all know what the Psalms were. We all know that they're poetry, and we know that they were the songbook for temple worship, but I'm not really concerned about that as far as form and all the parallelism stuff and how that all works. What we really want to figure out, what I really want to focus on, is how that makes us feel and what we're supposed to pull out of it, because it is both emotion being art and theology being Bible. Well, first we need to take a step back and look at the art form of the Jewish people as a whole. I mean, the Jewish culture were very good at record keeping. They were a very written culture. They had every form of art that we have today. They had it too, but they were particularly keen on their poetry and their spoken language and their sounds that they were able to make and the music inside their culture. But not music for music's sake like we think of music today. Their music focused around the words that were in their music, not the music behind the words. And that gave rise to an oral tradition, the oral culture that was Jewish people. And that, in turn, gave us a lot of material to work with even today. Now, we might not have the same songs that they used in the temple, and we don't have the same Sephardic traditional music, but we do have faithful recreations of those things that were passed down from generation to generation and to the modern times, and we can use that music to see what their culture was like in the past, and they're surprisingly accurate. So I want to focus on not so much how that worked, but I want to focus on what we feel from it today. And speaking of feeling, listen to the music that's playing right now. It's soft, it's slower, but there's a definite rhythm to it, but not because of the music, because of the words. Now think about who the Jews were and what they were looking for and where their hopes and dreams actually lie. And now you can see, you can hear, you can understand almost what they're singing about.
תמלוך בציון בכל יום ביומנו בכל יום ביומנו.
Any guesses to what they're saying? Absolutely. What they're singing about is looking for the Messiah and expecting his reign in Jerusalem and waiting for the glorious age that will be his kingdom on earth. This song was sung during the new moon celebrations, sometimes on the Sabbath day, but most of the time, as you can hear, as you would attest to, it was sung as a lullaby to Jewish children, so they would go to sleep thinking about those things and wake up the next morning with that on the top of their mind. Now let's change the tune a little bit. We're going to go into Psalm 104. What you're hearing right now is a recreation of the Babylonian Jewish melody that was attached to this psalm, and it was passed down from generation to generation until today. Of course, it has a little bit of a modern flair, but for the most part, this is exactly what they would have heard in Daniel's time. Psalm 104 has long been known as the creation psalm, and it paints a picture in poetic form about what God did and how he created the world. Now, it's a longer psalm, so it's typically divided into 35 verses, and obviously we don't have time to play all 35 for you here. But what I want you to hear is the fact that the words of the song are creating the rhythm and the rhyme behind the song. It has nothing to do with the idea of parallelism running. Those elements are there, and we miss a lot of that because we don't speak the Jewish language. It's true, but the words themselves, the accent on the vowel sounds versus the consonants, right, and the root forms and all that other stuff, they're the thing that create the framework of the song versus the music. It's just the music is just the add-on, so you can use that emotion and use those evoked feelings as you come to your devotional reading and as you come to the study of Christ, and it will give you a new flavor into what you're reading and seeing. And that's how it all really works. So what are the two main things that we look for when we read the Psalms? One, of course, is we see the Psalms on the surface as we quickly read through them. They're as a model of what we're supposed to do and how our reactions are supposed to be in line with the theology that they're imparting to us. Just like Psalm 8, the creation of God is magnificent. The creation of God is stupendous. There's a lot there, but it's more about using the small, insignificant man and our failures and our weaknesses, but yet we are given the dominion over everything. Gives it a new flavor. And the second idea is it gives us models not just for how to feel and what to say and what to think and how we're supposed to react, but it gives us models for worship. These psalms were the songbook or the guidebook for temple worship, and that's how they lived their life. That's how they worshiped God. God tells us in the Psalms how he wants to be worshipped, and we can use that in our daily time with the scripture, in our devotions with our family, or even in our church attendance and worship. We can use the Psalms as a gateway to see how God is supposed to be worshipped. And so there you have it, a really quick down and dirty, just quick glancing overview of all things art, and then we pulled that into what the Psalms look like and how that works for us. And next time we're going to talk about the wisdom literature of the scriptures, which also, incidentally, is a lot of poetry.